Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of Moving Picture Massacre. I am Tom, and I am here with Matt and Ricky, as always. And today, we are going to talk about a movie, again, that none of us have seen until today or yesterday. We're going to talk about the 1996 release of The Dentist. So I found this movie randomly. It even has someone else's address printed on the side and a sticker. I'm not going to show you that for too long because I don't know who that person is, and I don't need her address posted all over YouTube. But thankfully, I got a copy of her movie because I'm I wouldn't say quite fond of this movie, but I had a good time watching this movie. To break down what it says on the back, I'm just going to go ahead and read that for you guys. Dr. Alan Finestone is a rich and successful Beverly Hills dentist. In fact, he is so much more. A fine connoisseur of music, the owner of a palatial mansion, and the proud husband of a beautiful wife. There's only one problem. He's insane. Dr. Finestone loves perfection, and he expects it of everyone. Unfortunately, no one is perfect. This unacceptable fact annoys the good doctor and leads him to commit his one small imperfection: murder. That's a small imperfection, according to this box. Murder is so messy, and Dr. Finestone hates messes, but sometimes he just can't help killing a patient or two. To let you know exactly what this movie, that kind of breaks it down pretty much, but realistically, the way the movie plays out, you meet this dentist. He is a rich guy. You know, he's got a fancy, beautiful wife and a big house and a nice pool, and he just kind of loses his mind halfway through when he finds out his wife is cheating on him with the pool boy. Down the road, everything just gets worse, and as it says, you know, he starts his little minor imperfections of killing people. I liked things about this movie. There was a couple things that might have been dumb or didn't like, but I'm going to let you guys talk about it first. So, Ricky, tell us what you thought about this movie.
I actually enjoyed this one. There's not really much I have to complain about. If I'm going to complain about one thing, it's going to be Mark Ruffalo's character. First of all, that outfit he was wearing was just wretched. The polo shirt with the sweater just draped across his shoulders, just garbage. But the thing that bothered me the most about him is supposedly he's a talent scout for a modeling agency, and he sees a little teenage girl in the waiting room for the dentist, and he asks her to get up and kind of walk around. First of all, you don't do that to a teenage girl. I don't care who you are. If the parents are not present and you see a young teenage girl, you do not ask her to do a little model walk for you. Absolutely not. That's very inappropriate and very creepy. But yeah, I did not like Ruffalo's character at all. Other than that, there really wasn't too much I didn't like. Matt, anything you disliked about this one?
There really wasn't. Like, I agree with you. Overall, watching this movie, I enjoyed it, especially out of the 5 we've watched so far. This is my favorite one, I think. But one thing I didn't like about this is and this isn't really the part, I'm just getting to it, but there's a whole lot of attraction to this pool boy in the movie. So you got two ladies going after this pool boy, and he is the dirtiest person that I've ever seen in a movie. And I don't mean like, oh, he's got dirt on his face. He's got like turd sludge on his hands, and he's just smearing it all over the place. Like, it's disgusting. And no one like thinks that there's anything wrong with that. That's like hooking up with him. Like, it's just completely fine. And for some reason that bothered me a little bit because I have a hard time believing in Beverly Hills that wouldn't be an issue. But yeah, other than that, there really wasn't a lot to really complain about with this movie. The acting, I guess, wasn't always the greatest, but it's kind of what you would expect when you pick up a movie called The Dentist on VHS and you decide to play it. It's like, this, I deserve this. This is what should have been expecting that I was going to get from this movie. But yeah, overall, it was fun. There was a lot of stuff I liked about it, and I'm sure we'll get to that in a little bit, and we can talk about that. But yeah, Tom, take it away.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything I necessarily didn't like. Again, the acting wasn't amazing, but we're not expecting it to be realistically. And to piggyback on what you said about the dirtiness, there's that scene where he's like, the pool boy is touching the girl, the wife, and he like sticks his finger in her mouth and she's like sucking on his finger, and his other hand you just saw was like dirty as all hell. And so it super grossed me out that she was just sucking on his fingers, and I was not okay with that. Um, I would say the thing I didn't like about this movie the most is the fact that I'm not a huge fan of the dentist, like going to the dentist to begin with. And so there's some scenes where the dentist is drilling into somebody's mouth and goes a little farther and like breaks their tooth, and like my face just hurt watching that. And realistic now, I do have a toothache as of like yesterday, and I watched this the day before that, and I'm pretty sure it's the movie's fault. And so I may never watch this movie again just because of weird superstition that it's the movie's fault. My mouth hurts now. But yeah, there was a ton of cool things that I liked. The kills were really cool. They're in kind of, I want to. I'll let you guys talk because I'm sure you're going to say the same things about some of those kills that were in there. I think that the first part that took me by surprise, that kind of shocked me, was early on when you see the relationship of the pool boy and the husband's wife, or the dentist's wife, and you realize that it was just kind of a dream sequence, or like a thought process of the dentist. But the wife is out there with the pool boy, and she starts buckling his pants and going down like she's going to blow him, right? So then they lay down, you don't see anything. And then the dentist walks out there with a gun in his hand, sticks the gun in the pool boy's face, and then holds his wife's head down on this dude's junk. The entire time he's yelling at the pool boy, and he's like, talking about he's gonna fucking kill him and all this other stuff, and he's just like forcing his wife's head down on this guy's junk the entire time, and then ends up shooting him, and then he like wakes up from his weird little dream sequence. But that was one part that I liked a lot because it caught me off guard. I didn't expect to see like a forced blowjob in the first 15 minutes of this movie. And so Ricky, what do you like about this movie?
Just to add a little bit to that scene, like while he's holding her head down on his junk and he's like threatening the pool boy with the gun in his mouth, he's like, "You know who the fuck this is? This is the fucking dentist's wife. Show him what a dentist does." Talking about her teeth, he's like, "Show him those fucking teeth." Talking about biting his dick off. I was like, God damn. This is brutal. But yeah, going back to the thing you said where there's a lot of good kill scenes, man, I love when he was slicing up the pool boy. The use of the blood splatter was fantastic. I thought that was great. It looked realistic. I mean, just brilliant. I have nothing bad to say about that. Let's see. Another kill scene that I really enjoyed was when he was battling it out with Jessica, his little office assistant. That scene was like super suspenseful. Like I was like, all right, cool. Where's this going? Come on. It kept me interested. So I really liked how they went about doing that. In order to not take away from anything Matt has to say, I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to you because I could sit here and rant about all of it. But Matt, I'm going to let you take it now.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I liked about this too. One of the more weird things I kind of noticed was there really wasn't any like real sex in this movie. For all the like the sexual stuff going on, being that it's a dentist movie, there was a lot of like oral fixation stuff going on. So they definitely kept it all mouth stuff, which was kind of weird, but it was like that was clever. I agree with Ricky about the blood splatter. If you weren't going to mention that, I was when he's slicing up the pool boy. It's definitely the look of it and everything. It was done very, very well. One thing I forgot to complain about, this movie is an hour and 45 minutes long. We don't see the first kill in this movie for an hour. I think it's exactly an hour long, but then it like, it just everything starts happening from there on. It starts with the pool boy, and you get a lot more after that. But there are a lot of very disturbing things that happen up until that point with some dentist stuff. One of the things I do like about this though is a lot of it was practical effects, if not all of it. I don't think there really was any CGI in this movie. And if you think about like this being a dentist movie, that would be fairly easy to do instead of having to, you know, make up a whole body that you can mutilate or destroy. Most of the stuff you see in this where there's blood is just dealing with the mouth and teeth. So they're just grinding up like dentures and sticking little pieces of gums that can squirt blood out really easily. So I mean, it's a very smart idea to the way that they filmed this movie, and I enjoyed that quite a bit as well. But yeah, I mean, I can go on forever too, so I'll pass it along and let Tom go for a little bit.
Yeah, the one thing that I kind of remembered as we were talking about this is something I didn't really like was, or I thought was kind of weird, was how often the dentist was like narrating his life about what he was doing or what he was thinking and stuff. And I get you're kind of go for the like crazy factor, by showing him talking to himself a lot and things like that. But it kind of felt like reading like a comic that just had a lot of narration in the panels on the side, and then you're just watching everything happen on the other side. So like that was not the best thing for me. There was some slow motion scenes that took place randomly. Like things were happening, all of a sudden it got kind of slow and it was kind of weird. That bothered me. I totally forgot to mention that too. One thing that was it kind of I don't know. I'm sure it happens in a ton of movies. Well, I know it happens in a ton of movies. But when the little teenage girl that was getting her braces taken off, which I'm so glad after all of that, because she had to wait for multiple days while she was there trying to get her braces off and everything. And I was like, he's just going to kill this girl, and she's not even going to get her braces off. She had a party planned for her braces to be taken off, and she had to postpone the party because the doctor had to leave halfway through. Anyways, I was glad that she actually got her braces off. Even if she was going to get killed or not afterwards, she got her braces off, and I was happy for that. But when she was trying to run away from him afterwards, when he actually tried to kill her, she hid in a closet at one point, and it reminded me of Halloween, where Jamie Lee Curtis was in the back of the closet, and she's sitting there looking at the closet door, like waiting for him to come through. It looked just like that to me. Like the colors of the lighting, the blue kind of color and stuff in the closet reminded me a lot about that. But the end, the very end, where he ends up in a mental institution and gets pulled away to go to a dentist's chair, and the dentist ends up being his wife, who's not alive anymore, was interesting. I was kind of curious if it was like kind of like a vision that he's just completely insane and he's still in his room in his white padded walls and just freaking out. The way that they like zoomed out from that scene kind of reminded me of Get Out, when the guy is falling into the chair and he's like falling away and you can see what's happening up above him. It kind of felt like that kind of a situation, or kind of maybe how it was shot. I don't know. Anyways, I'm curious to what you guys think, if they thought about that at all, if it meant anything, if it was deeper than we might have realized, or if it was just like a shock ending at the end. What do you think about that, Ricky? How'd you take that?
Before I dive into that, I just wanted to touch base on what you mentioned about the teenage girl with her braces. I was getting so upset through the whole movie because it's like, oh, sorry, sweetheart, you're going to have to wait till tomorrow. I'm like, man, just get this girl's braces off for her. She's a teenage girl. Those braces are killing her. Please get rid of the braces. And then she finally is going back into the room, and the IRS guy comes in and puts money in her hands like, no, I'm next. I'm like, you fucking cocksucker, get these braces off of this girl. I was getting so mad. I was so happy when she got her braces off. But but I just had to touch base on that. But no, the ending. I mean, while they didn't officially say that his wife died, because if you remember, the last thing we see from her is when the detectives bust in and she's kind of like zip tied to the bed. So they never really said she died. But I mean, the removal of the tongue and losing all of her teeth, there's got to be some kind of infection there. But so it's kind of hard to draw a conclusion of that ending, because it's kind of one of those that you can just kind of take it how you want to. But so it could be, like you said, he's having like delusional thoughts and this is all happening in his head, or it could be, hey, these cops are just doing cruel and unusual punishment and letting her exact her revenge on him. So I mean, it's one of those kind of take it how you want to. So I mean, for all we know, she did survive, and she's just deformed and all kinds of fucked up, and she's getting her revenge. Or it could be all in his head because the dude's a fucking psychopath. And let me just add, Corbin Burnson does play a great psychopath. He was a great casting choice for this. He did an excellent job. Matt, what do you think about the ending?
I agree with you. Like, I don't recall her dying, and I remember, is it Ken Foray, the detective? I believe that's it, which is a kind of a big name for this movie. I think, like, I know he does a lot of the Rob Zombie movies and stuff like that. So I was surprised when I seen him, but yeah, when he finds her, she's tied up and she's still alive. So I just assumed that she was alive at the end of this. Now, him being crazy, they kind of get to that point where, even the wife realized he was nuts, that he had all the medication, because she's like, you only take one. So the end of the movie could all be in his head. The fact that, whatever he's seeing, it's just, that's his imagination playing out. But I don't know. I mean, I guess it could be his crazy wife is now, nuts too. She has all her missing teeth, no tongue and everything, and she's just in there just ready to torture him. I guess it's just an ending that you can take however you want. But yeah, I mean, are we just going over stuff we still like now, or?
Yeah, do you guys, how about this? Do you have anything else that you just want to bring up at all about, why someone should watch this movie?
I thought the kills were pretty good in it. Honestly, apart from like the slashing of the pool boy, one of the more thought out ones, I guess I wouldn't have thought about, is when he just like pumps that lady's jugular vein up full of air, and he's like, the bubbles will hit your brain soon, and that'll be it. And I was like, okay, that's pretty wild. I don't think I've ever seen anyone kill anyone like that in a movie before. And then you get like all the cool dentistry equipment too, like the IRS guy who is a total tool through the whole movie. You obviously know he's gonna die, and it's the worst way possible. Like, he's like cranking on that guy's mouth for what seems like 20 minutes of the movie. And when you flip back, like, it was kind of disappointing that his mouth wasn't like ripped open further, because the amount of time like it took, it's like, this dude is gonna look wild when we get back to him. But it's like right at the cusp of it just splitting it all open. But yeah, I thought the creativity on how they kill people in this movie was definitely good. They went above and beyond. So yeah, I'll pass it back to Tom.
Yeah, just overall, there was quite a few things I enjoyed. Like I said, I think the worst part about it is the fact that we're watching someone screw up someone's teeth, and no one likes to go to the dentist, and this isn't helping that whole fact at all. But let's, at this point, if we're not super have a bunch more to say, I guess you'd say, let's give this movie a rating out of 5 stars. I actually did this earlier, and like the more I talk about it with you guys, I think my personal rating is actually changing slightly. So Ricky, let us know what you think overall out of 5.
Out of 5, I'm gonna give this one. I'm gonna go with a 3.5. I wouldn't consider it a masterpiece. It's not gonna be one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time, but it was good. And like I said, this is one of those movies that if someone ever, hey, you want to watch this movie, The Dentist? I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's watch it. It's one of those that I can watch again and enjoy. but yeah, it was solid. There wasn't much to complain about. I mean, you have a great cast as far as the writing and directing credits go. I mean, Brian Usna, who did Society, and he did the final two Reanimator movies, which Reanimator is very, very near and dear to me. All three, no matter how terrible you say Beyond Reanimator is, it's important to me for its trash. But Stuart Gordon was also one of the writers who did the original Reanimator, and he also did From Beyond, Castle Freak, pretty much anything with Jeffrey Combs and Barbara Crampton. Stuart Gordon's attached to. But yeah, one other thing I wanted to bring up that y'all can touch on after your star rating. I know we started last week. We were talking about our laugh out loud moments. There was one for me that I do want to bring up. Whenever the dental assistant Jessica, whenever she finds the pantyhose, and she's showing it to Karen, the Asian lady, dental assistant, whatever she was. But when she shows it to her, and she's like, "Oh, well, maybe they just fell out of her purse," and she's like, "Yeah, and I can make flames shoot out of my ass." that gave me a pretty good chuckle. But yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I highly recommend you check it out at least once, just see if you like it. But Matt, go ahead with your star rating.
I think I'm going to rate mine about a 3. So just right in the middle. And that's just because we haven't seen that many movies. So 4 and 5 for me are going to be like really, really good movies. And I'm kind of reserving them for that. If we ever get to anything like that. But yeah, laugh out loud. I don't know if there was a whole lot of laugh out loud moments in this. One that made me kind of like chuckle a little bit was Mark Ruffalo when you were talking about him talking about getting the girl to stand up and do the walk like she's a model. He showed like a lot of interest. Like, yeah, I'm a talent scout. Hiring her would be kind of cool, but it was all just a joke to him. Like that, the dentist assistant comes walking out, and then right in that moment, she's like, "What are you doing?" And he like gets up and acts like he had nothing to do with what that girl was doing. So she just looked dumb. And I was like, that's kind of funny. Just a little bit funny. But other than that, I didn't really laugh at too many things in this movie. I thought the IRS guy was a jerk. That's another one I kind of laughed at a little bit is when he handed the girl money and he's like going to take her spot and she's like, I can't take this. And he's like, and just takes it back from her. He's like, no, it's fine. I'll just take it and take your spot. It's like, wow, that was a real tool move. But at the same time, it was kind of a little bit of comic relief. But yeah, Tom, how about you?
I would actually probably give it a 3 as well. And it's funny too, because like I said, I was changing my rating because I had it at a 2.5 earlier today when I was trying to remember like just things about it and stuff like that. And then I realized that I gave Psychomania the same rating at a 2.5. And I was like, that doesn't work. Because I thoroughly enjoyed The Dentist more than Psychomania, in all honesty. Just because, it was done well overall. The kills were cool. There was more interesting things happening. The guy was nuts. There was just more things that I enjoyed. So I would give it a 3, and that's strictly on the fact that I'm, reserving my my grades, I guess you would say, because it is going to take a lot for much to get higher than that, and I'm sure we'll get there. I don't think I had any actual laugh out loud moments. The moment you said, excuse me, Ricky, I don't even remember, to be honest, and so I might have looked away and completely missed the best line in the movie. So that whole scene where he was gassing the supermodel or whatever she was and having dreams about his wife, and so he started taking off her pantyhose and pulling her shirt down and stuff like that. I was getting to that point where I was like, this is gross. Oh, I don't know. And so I'm glad it stopped there. Yeah. Like, where's the fast forward button? I don't like that. But yeah, so I couldn't say there was any actual laugh out loud moments. I think the one that stuck with me the most was the very beginning dream sequence that I mentioned, just because it came out of nowhere. The fact that, like, you understand, you expect kills to happen in a horror movie and stuff like that, but the like forced blowjob thing was not something I expected whatsoever. So that definitely stuck with me compared to the entire rest of the movie. So I would give it a 3. But overall, it was a fun movie. I hope you guys take a few minutes, about an hour and 45 minutes precisely, to watch that, to check it out. Again, it is The Dentist. It's 1996 release, as we mentioned. I don't have much to say about it. So I'm super glad that we watched it. Otherwise, in all honesty, I've never heard of this movie before this. So I was glad that I came across it, and I'm glad that we all watched it together, at different times. But I'm glad we've all experienced it at this point in time. So thank you guys for watching episode 5 of Moving Picture Massacre. We already have our next review set and ready to watch. Not going to tell you what it is because you gotta tune in. So thank you. If you are new here, again, this is a VHS movie review show. There's the camera. And we appreciate you for stopping by and taking a look at this video. If you like watching or you like listening and you don't want to watch, you can find the audio recordings of this as a podcast in pretty much anywhere that you listen to podcasts. So thank you so much. Like and subscribe if you have not already. And we will see you guys very, very soon. Take it easy.